It was a difficult time of constant alert for the British Empire, who were stuck waiting for the Alexander to break through Tlatelolco and make his way towards London, for it seemed inevitable that this narrow isthmus of land upon which stood Geneva would not prove a barrier to them for long. Goodbye, crappy Greek ship. We hope you enjoyed your brief existence in this world. It is now over. Britannia rules the waves, bitches. Britannia. Alexander seems to have forgotten that in his massive arrogance. An interesting move, ultimately a futile one. But they couldn't really be blamed. There was no way they were going to be getting into Tlatelolco, especially with the Great Wall of China surrounding that one city. The caravel set out to explore the oceans as the ship of the line was nearly ready. Almost immediately, they ran into Darius, the Pious of Persia. Well, it was worth a shot. No. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you go. Let's see your luxury resources, gems, oil, incense. How'd you like some whales? You'd like some whales a lot, and that will help me out greatly. Perhaps instead of incense, we could get some wine?
بكل ربيع في قلم سينا شوي لخ بقرب تقابله
Alright, whatever.
بكل ربيع في قلم سينا شوي لخ بقرب تقابله
The gold certainly will help. And speaking of diplomacy, thank you, Kamehameha. That's very kind of you. Sounds good to me. Thank you, President, King, God, Emperor Kamehameha. You're a very generous man. You have nothing to trade. Goodbye. With the ship of the line constructed, it seemed like it was certainly time to begin harassing the Greek in a more immediate manner than what had been managed so far. Amazing what a little focus can do in your life, eh, folks? Just amazing. hey there, we met Monaco. And Sidon. Both down here, on a whole new continent. Just across from Nottingham. What else would we discover there? Only time would tell. But we were certainly prepared to start harassing Greek workers. Post haste. Because that's super fun. Take that. Alexander, as it turned out, had guns too. So that was good to know. Unfortunately for them, their guns didn't have so great of a range. Nothing can be done about that barbarian encampment. Well shot, Kamehameha. Well shot.
John Henry said to his captain, "A man ain't nothing but a man. And before I let your steam drill beat me down, I'll die with a hammer in my hand."
Alternately, we got pig iron. Tip of the line, folks. The British Navy is no joke, even if you have a musket. Sometimes workers are annoying. Oh, Alexander, you know that's not going to happen. Sydney and Almaty. We got a double. Again. How they doing? Just another reminder, Alexander. Your muskets don't mean shit. Not where Britain's concerned. How'd you like that? Apparently they liked it quite well because they healed instantly and immediately, and fully and completely somehow. Who knows? It's a mystical power that the non-focal nations in these simulations seem to have. Who knows where it comes from? Who knows why they have it? It's simply there to make stuff more spicy and interesting for the focal nation. At least the British Empire was getting a lot of good experience in bombarding Greek units. And it was learning a lot about this gunpowder stuff, something its scientists were quite interested in learning more about. Who? You do not get to pass unmolested with a settler. That's not happening. Greek Empire, of course, believed that it would be allowed to continue expanding at such a great rate, but they did not seem to realize that the British Empire had a say in the matter. And it's lovely for you to be companion cavalry, but you really should know better. Another city-state is discovered. They seem to be pretty much everywhere. Goodbye, settlers. Hopefully you enjoyed your time alive. More city-states continue to exist, which, great. Really, at this point, it was just a matter of being as mean to Alexander and his people as possible. And really, good luck to Montezuma's brave efforts in attempting to emulate British naval power. But really, at the end of the day, they simply could not measure up to the might of Britannia. This was taking place on the waves, after all, and who rules the waves but Britannia? Nobody else. That's who. Nice trying, Montezuma. And of course they immediately, fully and completely healed. Just because. Oh, they weathered that one remarkably well, considering they've nearly died about 5 times now. Meanwhile, back in New York, life was continuing to be an interesting thing. But the people were not happy, which meant that ways to make them happy had to be devised. Ways such as watching people murder each other in an arena, which seemed to be what people wanted to do. We can do this all century, boys. We don't have a limited number of arrows or cannonballs. Surely there is a limited number of Greek musketmen. Surely. More ships of the line needed to be produced in order to take part effectively in the battle against Alexander, whose demands continued to escalate. Regardless of any logic or common sense.
Today, when 200 corps can annihilate each other in 1 second, all civilized nations, it is to be hoped, will recoil from war and discharge their troops.
A noble sentiment, but one which did not prove to be true. Because as soon as the British figured out how to miniaturize guns as the Greek had, they started doing it right away. No questions asked. Any advantage against the Greek Empire, they wanted to take it. Guarantee you this will not work. Maybe it will. Good work, Ship of the Line. You're the best around. Over in Nottingham, they completed a market, which meant that life was getting better at the least. The economy was improving slowly. But it would still be quite some time before they were ready to deal with anything remotely approaching a large economy. All right, let's take a look here. Let's get into steam power. Let's do that first. We're on hour 23 and 45 minutes of this 24-hour live stream. And I am feeling it, let me tell you. I am feeling it. I'm feeling a lot more than Halicarnassus is feeling it, I'll tell you that for free. Really? 5 damage. Of course it is. Why would you stop there? That trireme is going to be destroyed. No questions asked. Nope. York began producing musketmen as well, just in case the Greeks managed to make it through. And yet, that trireme was destroyed. Because as we all know, a newly founded city is automatically way better at destroying things than anything else in the game. The British didn't much like these cannons, but the cannons didn't much like the British either. So really, what can you do? Queen Elizabeth's decision was merely to hold the line, grit their teeth, and do the best they possibly could. Within the restrictions placed upon them by being at war with the massive Greek Empire. The Ship of the Line, at least, was holding her own and dealing with the strange and fascinating cannons of the Greeks. Alexander's guns proved quite deadly indeed, even to the incredibly powerful Ship of the Line. At the very least, Alexander's people were less happy than the British. So much less happy, in fact, that by comparison, the British felt that they may as well celebrate with a golden age, because why not?